Can you tell me where you were born and when?
I was born in Hackensack, New Jersey, uh, in 1923
1923.
on the 22nd day.
And can you tell me a little bit more about your background, your family? Is it Italian or do you have an Italian background? Italian?
Well, yeah, I spoke Sicilian most of my life, I'll tell you the truth, because my mother and father came from Sicily, and my father never learned how to speak English too good, but my mother went to school at night and learned English. So that's how I spoke English. And then when I got married, I brought my wife's parents with us. The father spoke good English, but the mother very few English. So I taught Italian most of my life.
Okay, that's interesting. So you are still speak good. You can still speak the language today, Italian.
Yeah, well, I forgot a
A
lot
little
of
bit.
it, a lot.
So, um, how did you end up in the army? How did you end up in
I
the
got
service?
drafted. Yeah, well, I graduated high school at 18 and 19. I got drafted. That's how I got into the army.
Okay. And so, can you tell me where you did your basic training?
In Fort Dix, New Jersey. From Fort Dix, New Jersey, I went to Fort Riley, Kansas. And from Fort Riley, Kansas, I went overseas, England,
Okay.
and joined the First Army.
So, when you arrive in the first division, was it just finish the job in Sicily? Is it just returned from Sicily? You arrive as a replacement.
Yeah, I was a replacement. Yeah, they came from Sicily, right.
How the men in your company helped you because they were veterans, North Africa,
Oh,
Sicily.
very good, yes.
How did they
We,
help you?
we went on the maneuvers and everything, and they helped us a lot. They were very kind in every respect and everything, and they treated us like babies.
Yeah. In a way, you were 18, 19 years old, no experience in combat, and those guys were already in North Africa,
they,
Sicily.
they were old veterans, you might as well say.
Yeah.
They went through a lot.
So, do you remember the first time you saw Captain Dawson?
Uh, oh yeah, when we got to England, he introduced himself to us. Yeah, he gathered us all together. That's in England.
Did he did did he make a good impression on you when you saw him the first time?
No, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
I can't
it's
remember.
been a long time.
Long time ago. The only thing I know, we met Eisenhower and Phil Montgomery
Oh wow,
the night before the invasion. They spoke to us.
that's something.
Yeah.
Did you do a lot of amphibious training in England? Do you remember?
Yeah, we used to go on night maneuvers and everything. Oh, the regular maneuvers. We did marching, a lot of marching.
So you were in great shape.
Oh, at that time, naturally, I was only 20 years old at that time.
Yeah. And do you remember doing, any training with the landing craft, pretending that you were landing on the beach, or do you remember the amphibious training?
Yeah, they taught us some hand-to-hand training, but never came hand-to-hand.
What's your most vivid memory about England? Your most
About
vivid
the
memory?
countryside, beautiful countryside, and you stand on a high part and look down and see all the way the farms and everything. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed that.
Did you meet any British people? Do you remember meeting British?
Uh, a well, a couple, because they came to clean our latrines, and we talked to uh, two men, I remember, and the other fellow was doing most of the talking. So yeah, that's about it.
No British girlfriend?
No, and we very seldom went to town. We had passes to go to town every weekend, but very seldom I went. I went to the movies there one time and enjoyed the movie, even though it was real strong English.
The British accent.
Yeah, very,
Very strong. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
What movie was it? Do you remember the
No,
title?
I don't know. And the first time I had fish and chips, they rolled in the newspaper. I mean, watching the movie and fish and chips.
That's good stuff.
Oh, yeah. And
We went to England about 4 months ago, and we had some delicious fish and chips. Yeah, in the southern part of the country. Um, you mentioned something earlier about a V1 or V2 bombs.
yeah,
Can you tell me again?
it must have. Well, they never told us what hit us, but in the area. So I think it was V2 coming over. That's the only way they can get to get us. So somebody must have got, the Germans must have got word that we're ganging up on the other side of England. So they decided to throw V2, I guess. But we got shelled, but no harm was done that we know of. They won't tell us.
Yeah.
Like we were on maneuvers, and a couple of German submarines, they bombed the English.
Yes, they didn't tell you.
Yeah.
As a private first class, they didn't tell you much, right? They just gave you, as a private first class,
Yes.
you didn't know much. They just gave you orders and
They
just did the job.
That
So, can you tell me a little bit more about the first few days before D-Day when you started to regroup and for the big invasion? Do you remember a little bit about it?
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, they were briefing us what to expect and everything, and that's all I can remember. They were briefing us every day. They were briefing us, and I remember being on a ship overnight because they called off the invasion that day, and then they decided to go the next day.
That's right.
And then that night, I spent outside on the ship. All of us were outside. There's a lot of gambling, that's all I can tell you.
Did you win anything?
No, I never, no,
You
I
lost.
never played, but there were a lot of dice,
Yes.
that's all it was.
So, how did you feel at that time? Were you scared or were you? How did you feel on the boat, knowing that you would be part of the big day?
Yeah, well, we all were nervous, period. And once we got in the LCVPs going in, you would hear a voice maybe, oh mama, oh mama. And then we hear these shells coming over our head, and then we seen guys dead floating along the water. And you couldn't see over, but some of them jumped over, high and seen these dead bodies, and they start crying. Me, I just stood there.
So what happened like during, first of all, how long did it take from the big ship to the beach? How long?
Oh, we were supposed to go get into the boat and go, but then they claimed the beach was too crowded, and we circled around for I don't know how long it was, and then we went in. And when he dropped the ramp, we all jumped into the water. Now, I was short. I jumped into the water, holding the rifle over my head and trying to not to drink the water, you know. So I finally made it to the shore. And we all were grouped there for about 3 to 4 hours, all along the left side of that beach where we were supposed to land. We weren't supposed to land there, but that was a good, safe place. We just stood there on our stomachs until what was holding back to go up was barbed wire. So they decided to get bandoliers. Just went in there, exploded, opened up we went. So we were on the left side of the pillboxes where they couldn't see us. That's how we got up on the high ground without a casualty. And then Captain Gorson and a group went into the town, Colville, and we stood there because we had this German prison. So my squad stood there.
So you stayed with the prisoners close to the beach or on the top of the hill?
On top of the hill.
On the top of
That's
the hill.
where we caught them.
Wow, that's incredible.
And
And you say that Captain Dawson was first that day?
he was, they called him Texas crazy. Yeah.
He was that type of officer. Wow.
Good officer.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And I know the 16th Regiment was supposed to have amphibious tanks. Amphibious tanks were supposed to go first. Do you remember seeing any that sunk or any tanks on the beach? No? Because they had the system, the floating tanks, amphibious tanks. But it didn't work.
I don't know.
No. So, when you crossed the beach, did you see any of those beach obstacles?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But you managed to cross pretty fast?
Yeah.
So, during that day, your squad, you didn't lose anyone. You managed to keep everybody in your squad, you said?
Yeah, we all it was a miracle how we didn't get separated once we hit the water. The whole company was all together, and that was a miracle. He even says it in his book. It was a miracle how we got on that beach without any casualties.
What equipment were you carrying that day on you?
Oh, I was carrying 20 pounds of plastic TNT, right? And when I fall into the water, we were three men. One man had the detonator. One man had a 5-foot pole, and he had a 10-foot pole. This is when we were practicing, and he was supposed to inch up to the pillbox and explode the plastic. But once I hit the beach and it goes down, and I fell into the water, I heard shells, zing, 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 zinging, you know. Right away I said, heck no. I took off into in the channel. That was it. I said, I ain't going to explode. So that was the end. That was impossible to do. Three men trying to get up to the beach.
That was just too heavy, all this equipment.
Yeah, well, 50 pounds. Everything was 50 pounds.
Were you carrying those life preserver? Did you?
No.
No?
No.
Wow.
No life preservers or nothing.
Wow. So, what do you remember on the beach? What were you around you when you crossed the beach?
The only thing I remember just laying there. And that's it. Because you lift your head up, your head was gone. And that's it. That's all I remember.
So you took those 2 prisoners, German prisoners, and what did you do with those guys?
No, MPs.
MPs.
Yeah, they gave to the MPs. They were kids like us. I was a kid. They were kids. They're younger than us, they were. We figured they were about 14 years old.
Yeah, very young Germans.
Yeah.
And so what's going to happen the next few days?
Well, next 2 days, we started to march on the countryside, and we were going to this town. And what happened was that the Germans took off. So there was no fighting there. Then we marched again, and the Germans took off. So never got to shoot the gun. Maybe 6 or 7 days later. Then they held up. But then the Patton and his tanks, we couldn't keep up with the Germans because they kept taking off. So we rode Patton tanks. Our troops were riding Patton tanks because they're the only ones that keep up with them. And that was it.
They were just going too fast.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
I know the 1st Division was in a town called Marigny. It's near Saint-Lô.
Yeah, we were in St. Louis.
What do you remember about this area?
I remember that there was a company, I don't know what company it was, they were trapped. They couldn't get out. And that was nighttime. And we went into that town. I don't know what town it was. And everything broke hell like hell. All shooting going on and everything. So we finally rescued them. And of course, the Germans took off. Yeah, I remember that. That was that was awful. We see roofs flying and everything.
Scary experience.
Yeah.
And so far during that time, did you manage to keep all your squad? Did your squad?
Yeah.
Everybody managed to make it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you remember when your company suffered their first casualties? Do you remember the first combat where your squad or your company started to suffer casualties, like wounded men or anyone that needed to be evacuated?
No.
No.
There's one incident that I never forget. We needed rations. So 4 of us went back 5 miles. We got the rations and we're coming to the front lines. And maybe, I don't know how far it was. There's an open field and woods. All at once, a German tank comes out of the woods, and I seen a flash. Right away, I jumped on the side of the road. There was Holly. The two guys in front of us that were carrying the food, they disappeared. And me and the other guy, we were shaking like heck on there. I says, let's hope the tank don't come this way. And that's one experience I never forget.
Was it in Normandy?
It was in France.
In France.
Yeah.
And what happened next? Did you need some time, like just?
Well, we just stood there, played dead, just in case. Yeah. And then it started to get dark. We started itching up along the gully and went to the headquarters.
The 2 men that were in front of you, were they part of your company as well?
Yeah, they were part of the company. We didn't know them.
Different squad?
Me and the other fellow, we didn't know him. Of course, the other fellow, we always stuck together. So we didn't, they came different part of the company.
Different squad.
Maybe. Squad, yeah.
And do you remember who was your buddy who was your friend that you stayed in the ditch? Do you remember his name?
Yeah, Alex. First name was Alex. I think he might have been Russo or something. But anyway, Alex.
So that was your friend Alex.
Okay, because after the war, I invited him over to my house. He lived in New York.
Okay.
And he came, I picked him up on the 42nd Street ferry.
Okay.
I brought him to Hackensack, New Jersey. And he spent the day with us and everything.
So that was a good friend.
Good, oh yeah, we were a very good friend.
Alex. Wow. That's interesting.
Mm.
How the bond, because you didn't know him before the war. You met him during the war?
No, John, yeah.
Wow. So, I know after Normandy, the 1st Division went through Belgium.
Yeah.
Before going to Germany.
That's right.
But you mentioned earlier that you got wounded at some point. When get you?
When did you get wounded?
When did you get wounded?
Oh, you know, I tell everybody in the town I got wounded. Now I can't remember it. I tried to just a couple of weeks ago. I tried to remember when did I get. I don't remember. But anyway, what happened was that me and this other guy, we were scouts. We always went in front of the troops, scouts. And so that day he says, we don't want no scouts in the back. So we went in the back and we attacked the hill. Well, we got shelled, and that's where I got wounded. He got 2 fingers. He was holding his butt of the gun, 2 fingers. But I heard him say, "My 2 fingers are gone." And me, I says, "Oh," and I just fainted. Then I woke up and I'm yelling for medics. Then 2 medics came. They wrapped me up. They put me in a Jeep, and I went to Belgium Field Hospital. That's where I got the operation. I got in the all hair. All this was gone. So they had to do 2 operations for skin graft to fill it up.
So if I understand, that was a big piece of shrapnel, a big shrapnel.
I got the shrapnel.
No way.
Yeah, when I woke up from the hospital, the doctor wrote a note. I believe you want these as a souvenir. And I got the scratch.
No way. Wow. Was it a big piece?
Yeah, it was about that long, and it was ridges.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the one piece fell off during the years. One piece fell off. I got the shrapnel.
So you were wounded in Germany or in Belgium?
No, Germany.
So
It
that-
was Germany.
That was in the Hutken forest, in the big forest, Hurtgen forest.
Yeah, I was in a hurry forest.
We've been there many times with Jenny,
Yeah.
and all the woods, it's very dark. It's
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
healing.
very, yeah. In fact, we had illusions that people were moving when we looked out of the foxhole. But the worst thing is when they start shelling the trees and tree birds. That's the worst thing there. That's where I lost my rifle. As soon as the first shell came over, I jumped into the foxhole, and the rifle was outside. It was all the tree bursts and everything. I couldn't use the rifle anymore. I had to get another rifle.
those tree bursts were like very bad.
Yeah,
The medic that we know who served in F Company lost a good friend because of tree bursts.
yeah.
Yeah, Manfred Kelly. And do you think that the weather as well, the weather affected the troops? You know, the rain, the
A
cold.
whole lot of rain, cold, yeah. It just slowed us down marching, that's about it, but
So you slept most of the time in foxholes?
yeah.
How did you stay warm?
Well, we had heavy coats and jackets, underwears were all wool. Our underwears were all wool. That kept us warm. But I remember one time it was dark. We start digging foxhole, and then we put the top over us. We fall asleep, and in the morning, the most exciting most exciting thing was we were on the hill and all Christmas trees with snow on. What a sight. If I had a camera, that was some sight in Germany.
I don't know how to say that in English, but it's like it's almost for a few minutes. There was no war, just it's beautiful and the snow.
Yeah, we woke up and looked, holy smokes.
Wow.
Yeah, that was very, very, can't forget that either.
So, how many weeks do you think you spent in Germany in the forest before you get wounded? Do you think it was just a couple weeks or a month or
Nah, it was,
when were you wounded? Do you remember the months when you get hit? Was it in November?
yeah, it was November. It was in November.
It might be close to the town of Hamish. Hamich. How would you say that in English? Amish, Germany.
I don't know.
Yeah. I know your unit was in the area at the time. So they put you on the jeep, and after that you woke up in the hospital.
Yeah.
And how long did you stay there?
They closed the wound as much as possible. I think it must have been overnight. And before you know it, I'm on a plane going to England. Yeah, it must have been overnight.
Okay. Pretty quick.
Yeah.
So you spent a lot of time in England recovering.
Yeah, say like from November to, what was it, July? Maybe
Okay.
it was July, something like that. Yeah.
So the war was over for you like in November.
Right.
That was a $1 million wound.
Yeah, that's what they said, right? You got $1 million wound.
Did you get the check, $1 million?
But they're still paying for it. That's all I can say.
That's right.
And they're paying good
That's right.
too.
That's right. Wow. So, except the wound, what's your most vivid memory about the forest, the Yorkton forest? What's the most vivid memory you've got?
Only those tree bushes. That's it. And the darkness at night. We would shoot. We thought we seen people, Germans moving. And we would just ta-ta, But I don't think they were German moving. It's his imagination, maybe. Too dark.
Too dark.
Too dark.
So I bet just if you hear a noise or if you see something,
No, we just thought we seen something moving. That's it. But you stay there and you just stare at the dark. Someone's gonna move your eyes. But if they were Germans, we don't even know.
And what about the food when you were in that forest? What were you eating?
Oh, it was K rations. All K rations we had.
All the time.
All the time. But in what do you call it, in France, we raided the chickens coops.
Get some fresh eggs.
Fresh eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got.
You should have heard them yell.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine that. But you deserve it. You're forgiven for the eggs. So, were you tired sometimes? Did you at some point during the in Germany? Did you see guys that were? It was too much. It was just too much. Like spending so many weeks in combat, seeing so much death. Did you see
It's
guys that?
only 4 months and few days, weeks in combat. That's all it was. It wasn't too long.
Yeah.
Guys were longer than that.
And did you see some of them suffering from what we call battle fatigue a little bit? You know, that would just needed a break.
I didn't get you.
Can you help me?
Did you see any men around you that were suffering from battle fatigue?
No.
No.
But I happened to go to the dispensary for one day because my nose was bleeding, and I heard this guy, I think his name was Buddy something, under fire. He went berserk, they told me. That's the only thing I heard.
If somebody had gone off, his nose was bleeding and he had to go back to get it treated. Someone in there had gone
Oh,
off.
I see.
It was just too much.
Do you remember some of the medics in your company? Do you remember?
No,
No?
no. Mm.
I'm always wondering because they were all around, right?
Yeah, they never know.
Okay. So, can you tell me just a little bit more about when you came back home? When did you come back to the U.S.?
Oh, I know it was during the summer. I forgot that when I came back. And like I said, my uncle owned a shoe factory in New York, and he says, "You're going to come and work for me," work for him. And I had a girlfriend, and we kept about 6 months company. Then we got married,
Oh, wow.
and then I was a married man. That's it. That's it.
I know what it is. Did you write to her when you were overseas? Did you?
Oh
write?
yeah, oh yeah. I tried to write as much as possible when I went overseas. Yeah.
And did she write to you as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Good. It was not
Oh
just one way.
yeah.
Did you have any questions? No, but I can ask.
Okay.
So just a couple more questions.
Okay.
Just a,
Yeah, because at 3 o'clock I usually take my nap like a baby.
what time is it?
That's all right.
Okay. So one more question. Two more questions. I know you stayed in touch with Alex. You stayed in touch with Alex, but did you stay in touch with other men from your company? Did you stay in touch with other member of your company?
After that, no, only Alex, because he lived in New York. The other ones lived out west or south. You know, he's the only guy that lived close to me.
And last question, the last one. Did you bring back any souvenirs? Did you bring back a Luger?
Well, I had a German Luger. When I got wounded, that's when I lost it. Either the medics took it.
Someone else had a souvenir.
So
Well,
that's the only souvenir I had, a German Luger.
so thank you so much, Dominic.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure meeting
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure meeting you.